Okay, today's Daily Dose of Math is about bias. When we do a sample survey where we're asking a bunch of people questions so that we can get some information that we're going to use, we are trying to make a good survey happen. We're trying to avoid bias. So you have to know what the word bias means in this course. Bias means that the person who made the survey made a mistake. Their results aren't very good because they didn't do the survey very well. So when you're asked a question about bias, they have to give you a situation. They have to tell you what the person did in their survey so that you can criticize them. Now, students don't necessarily like criticizing when they're sitting in a math test, but it's just a skill you have to develop. The people who made the survey made mistakes. You have to point out what the mistakes are. You have to write down what the mistakes are clearly, so you end up having to write whole sentences, whole paragraphs, which students also don't necessarily really like doing. But once you get used to it, this is easy marks if you get asked this on an exam. So let's do an example. We're going to start with this one. A survey was done asking 150 Calgary residents aged 20 to 25. The question, are Alberta kids involved in enough organized sports? So that's the survey, that's all we have to work with, but we have to criticize that. What are they doing wrong? The first thing I'm going to write is the population that they're asking about is Alberta. It's actually Alberta kids. That's the population. So I have two problems with what they're doing when I think that they're supposed to be learning something about Alberta kids, which is they should ask, I'm going to say it and then I'll write it, okay? They should ask all over the province, not just in one city. So that's a good answer. Second thing is, they should ask a wider age group. Why are they only asking age 20 to 25? And then the third thing is, they're asking 150 people. That's too small a sample size. When you do a survey and the population is as big as all the kids in Alberta, which is tens of thousands of people at least, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people, you need a large sample size. You need to ask a lot of people if you want your survey to mean something. So they should ask a lot more than 150 people. Those are my criticisms of this survey. And I'm going to now write them really fast. Okay, example 2. I stood at the entrance to the train station on a Saturday morning and I asked travelers questions about how well the transit company are serving the needs of commuting workers. We are looking for bias. We want to criticize how this is being done. Now, there are so many things wrong with this. I hardly know where to start. But I am going to say them out loud and then I'm going to write them really fast. So the first thing I'm going to say is, transit includes bus and metro, not just the train. So asking at the train station is not enough. Secondly, asking at only one train station also is not enough. Commuters don't all use the same train station. You might get different answers from different people if you go to different train stations. Third one, commuters travel on many days of the week, so asking the question only on a Saturday is not enough. And the fourth one, commuters travel at many times of day, so asking only in the morning is also not enough. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Okay, example 3. On May 20th, we asked all of the children in the 6th grade gym classes some questions about what they would prefer on the lunch menu for next year. And now I have to criticize that and find bias in that situation. Okay, first thing, grade 6 kids are going to be in a different school the next year. So maybe we should not even be including the grade 6 kids. That's one problem. Second problem, ask all the grade levels, not just one. So we're only asking one grade level and we're picking the worst one. We've created 2 problems at once by doing that. Thirdly, a larger sample size would be better. When you think about it, in an elementary school that has a grade 6, usually there's 2 grade 6 classrooms, that's about 60 kids. But there are 7 levels, including kindergarten in that school. So there should be about 420 students in the school, maybe, something around there. So is 60 a large enough sample size? Now, one of the things that I want to point out about a bias question is the way they ask it, you don't know for sure how many things are wrong with the survey. So do you always find 3? No. In the first example I found the 3, in the second example I found 4. In this example I found 3. But the good thing about this is the student is given some space on the exam if they are being examined on this, and they're given enough space to write. And they can write as much as they want. So you can find more bias if you want. So if the student has imagination to come up with a type of bias that I didn't even think of, and they write it down, well, if they're right, they're right. So let's try and think, is there anything else that we can say is wrong with this survey? I'm going to give the students in the class a chance first before I come up with anything. Is there anything else that I didn't notice besides grade 6? They're not here next year. Why only 1 grade level? Are they asking enough people? Is there anything else wrong with this survey? I'll read it again. On May 20th, we asked all of the children in the 6th grade gym classes some questions about what they would prefer on the lunch menu for next year. Any ideas? I have one, which is, and I don't know if this is the best answer, but I'll say it anyway, because I have space on my page. I'm going to put an extra one on. They're asking kids in the gym class. Maybe they're all really hungry because they just exercised, and that's going to make them give different answers than they would give if you asked them at a different time. So maybe that would change the survey, ruin the results of the survey a little bit, maybe not. But it doesn't hurt to write it down, because as the teacher, when I'm correcting this, if the student comes up with an idea that's not in my answer key, I just look at their idea and I say to myself, well, are they right? Have they got a good idea here? And if they do, I'm going to give them the marks for it. So I'm going to write all of that down really fast. Okay, that was a lot of writing, but bias is today's daily dose of math. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share.